extending their reserves. Keep it up, troops. Charlie 2 has been secured. We are attacking Charlie 1.
Hostile! 40 meters away from my
Troops,
position!
they're paying a price. Keep it up.
Enemy soldier marked! Around 90 meters from your position!
Whenever you're ready. Spending resources fast. Already down by a quarter. Taking control of Sector Bravo. Report.
We are moving to attack Delta 1.
Taking control point by point.
Enemy infantry! 40 meters from me! Hostile transport! Troop strength diminished. We're drawing on reinforcements.
Fire for burning zombies, and electricity that would propagate through puddles. But those puddles were always in the same place every time, and there's no way to create your own traps with jerry cans or anything like that. The most you can do is pick up large propane tanks and use them to blow up groups of enemies. But even then, those explosive effects are incredibly underwhelming, with a brief shockwave visible and some subtle fire effects, as opposed to the explosions in Dead Island 2 that are larger and more visually interesting. The surface of level-based water effects are also completely stagnant in the original game, failing to interact with any characters, objects, or the player. But in the sequel, water ripples look fairly decent, and some dynamic objects will realistically float on the surface too. Fire rendering is also much better now than it was before, as the effect spreads more realistically and has higher resolution alpha textures for the animation. I was especially impressed with the amount of particles used in this early scene, with thousands of little embers dotting the screen in a way that just wasn't possible in the old game. Suffice to say, Dead Island 2 is a visually superior title in nearly every sense. So now, let's move on to talking solely about the biggest changes to the gameplay design, starting with the way the combat and weapons are handled. Both Dead Island 1 and 2 are designed very strongly around using melee as the primary form of combat. Players can slash, bash, kick, and stomp using a wide variety of different weapons found either on the ground or in specially marked chests hidden throughout the game. Most of the weapons that can be found are long, blunt objects like sticks, poles, clubs, and pipes, though stronger, sharp weapons like axes and blades can also be found, allowing for deeper cuts into zombies and gruesome dismemberment. Firearms like handguns and rifles are also available in both games, though they appear much sooner in the sequel. as they're now more properly integrated into the combat flow, and can even be customized to fire elemental attacks like electric, fire, or caustic bullets. Dead Island 2 also introduces newer combat abilities as well, like a charged heavy attack that takes longer to wind up but can deal greater damage. This is also accompanied by 2 new defensive moves, a dodge and a block, either of which can be used to parry an enemy's attack, allowing for a devastating counter.